Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, here we go. Thursdays, KVJ After the Show podcast. And we got Virginia back with us today.
Yay, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I hate when someone's out.
Yeah.
I like when we're all together.
You just like to look at me, and I don't blame you. Drink it in, bitch.
No, you're right.
in.
So many boners, Kevin.
Non-stop perma boner,
So
huh?
many boners, so little time.
Yeah.
When it comes to
Just
Virginia.
one big old day-long boner, huh?
What a dick. I say I miss her. Yeah,
Yeah.
you like this shit, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, you'd called her. Virginia came rolling into town late last night, so she's a little tired today, so we'll have to...
11:30 I got in, but
Lord.
I went right to bed.
I can't even tell you how terrible our show would do if I ever rolled in late. It would people be like, what is going on today?
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but Kevin, the last couple of days, the show sounded way different because Virginia wasn't here.
I know. Yes, we get that all the time.
It's kind of like when people come up to me and say, you know, you have a cleft chin, you have a butt chin. Thanks, fuckface. Never knew that. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, we get it. Yeah, it's that's why we've got all of our little names on there, because it's all three. It's kind of like, what was that thing where they had to come together to make that big old robot? Was that Power Rangers or was that something else?
Were they all four of them together?
Yeah. You need the whole bunch, and if you're missing just one, then there's part of it's gone.
Well, you can't really zing Kevin. You can, but he just takes it, and then you just feel like a mean
And then he just looks sad.
I just shrug it off. Yeah,
and then he keeps going on with the topic.
You can only zing him once an hour.
Me and you zing, it turns into a thing, and we go back and forth. You can't zing somebody who wants to keep staying on topic, just ignores you. It doesn't work, man.
That's why we need Virginia.
Yeah.
So
Back.
She's back.
Oh, she's back. She was screaming in the hallway right before the podcast, being vulgar and inappropriate. She's back.
Everybody knows Virginia's back. Okay, that's good. Sounded off.
Good. I just want y'all to recognize.
Oh, we recognize.
Vulgar's in the house.
One of the things that we had talked about yesterday on the After the Show podcast, I'll just hit it quickly because we did hit it on the regular show, but we had yesterday as well. I know some people only listen to the podcast, but it was about Simone Biles jumping out of the Olympics, citing mental health. And yesterday we'd even played a clip, and I even saw this in the New York Post. They were it really was the debate, quitter or, justified, I think was it. And so there were people lining up on either side of it. And to me, I was just trying to figure it out because I think there is a much bigger mental health discussion that needs to happen here, because Osaka, the tennis player who also got bounced out of the Olympics, she cited that for Wimbledon, didn't play in that, even though she's the number 2 ranked female player in the world, mental health issues, and it affects all of us. So that's why I thought it was kind of universally relatable. And I'll just hit this real quick because I had talked about this in the regular show today. But if you missed that and you don't listen to it, Kay had sent an email that gives a little bit more understanding behind Simone Biles' decision. I mean, one, and she kind of alluded to this, that, she may have been, a victim of that Larry Nassar or whatever
She
his name is.
is.
Or whatever it
I
is.
think
I think she is.
Definitely is
So,
one of the victims that was
yeah.
sexually abused by the USA gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. That is a fact.
So one, you've got that just always stays with you. And two, Kay kind of laid it out, said, she wasn't quitting in the sense that we know or think of as quitting, but as a gymnast, if she gets the, quote, twisties and can't get out of her own head, she could totally injure herself. This isn't her letting her team and country down, but her recognizing that she could seriously injure herself or even paralyze herself. And this is from an article from an Olympic gymnast who said that gymnasts use muscle memory to perform their routines in the middle of a vault. Simone's muscle memory turned off. She didn't know where she was midair, and that's more dangerous than a standard case of the yips. In '96, Carrie Strug vaulted under a similar condition and broke her ankle, which ultimately forced her to retire at the age of 19. And she did it because she was convinced by a coach that she could do it and she should push through. Now, I think that Simone should be praised for recognizing that she couldn't compete when she did. If every other gymnast in her field is praising her for recognizing what was happening, shouldn't we? And that gave me a lot of understanding. That's why I don't like to come off real quick with a hot opinion because, you got to really understand a little bit more, some depth and context.
And like we talked about yesterday, every situation is different than the next situation. If there's legit things causing you mental illness, you need to take a break. That's different than waking up and having a bad day and not pushing through. And that's where, to me, I think the conversation should happen. I mean, I remember I was playing in college baseball, and I had really terrible anxiety going to really large stadiums, and my behavior would be weird because I'd have to do certain things during the game. I just knew that there was something people noticed something was going on with me. So I decided during that fall season to be honest with my baseball coach and tell him, look, I've got this weird thing about...
I'm a crazy motherfucker.
In a sense, I did. I really laid it out, and I thought being open and honest with this guy and the coaching staff would be a good thing. And looking back, it was not a good thing. They treated me way differently. They acted like I was dead. They wanted me off the team at that point. Big time. They did not know how to handle it. But I told them everything. I was honest about it all, about being afraid of going in front of stadiums and all this stuff. And they did not want to even deal with it. And it wasn't like I had a bad fall. I had a really good fall. They just didn't want to deal with it, man. And that's why sometimes people are afraid to talk about it, because some people, they will act like they want to know. We want to help mental health. But if you can't help that person, sometimes they say, okay, well, on to the next person. That's
well, they probably knew that it was outside of their skill set, and it probably frightened them.
But I also
they were just like, we don't want to deal with this.
But I did feel like one of the coaches was a cock on purpose to try to get me to quit. He was so nice. It was just a weird thing right after that conversation. Things noticeably changed, and they were changing in an odd way towards me to what other people are going, that was weird, man. And going, no, it was weird.
Sports is changing, businesses are changing, because now you really have to be part psychologist and you deal with that. And you have to stop down and recognize. In fact, I know our company, Hubbard, they're really big in connecting us that if you have any mental health issues, that they've got the resources for you to go and talk through it. And you've got to put it first. I grew up in an area and in an era where it was always pushed through. It was mental toughness. You just shook it off. You were not allowed to be weak. And, I've never even talked about it. I recently wrote kind of an article for the industry that was passed around a little bit because I recognized what I went through a lot of people had. When I was doing the sports show, and I was always just one of those people where I'm like, push through, keep going, man. Be a fucking radio machine, man. Just keep doing it. And I was prepping for this show. I was then prepping just as hard for my sports show. I was going home and then doing KVJ stuff, and that's all it was. And I would sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, and I would do it again. And it was day in and day out. Then we'd have events on the weekend. And something happened one day. It was like I broke. I was just... Every passion, every desire to do this thing was gone. I just was numb. I had never experienced it. I don't know what it was, and I couldn't shake it.
I remember you were going through that.
And I didn't tell anybody about it because to me, I don't talk about my weaknesses or anything that's going on.
But you could tell, though.
We could tell. We're like, something's going down.
I remember that whole time period. Definitely towards the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing too much.
And thankfully, luckily, I got out of it. And then I started to say, look, man, you got I couldn't figure out what it was because I couldn't fix myself. And I was really dreading everything about it, but I'm like, push through, keep working. And unfortunately in radio, you really don't get much breaks. I know it seems like maybe we take eternal vacations.
It's really not that much.
But it's really not that much considering what you have to do every single day. I mean, it is a complete, you are exhausted and tore up after every single show that we do.
Well, if you want to try to do something somewhat original, at least, or something.
Right. And then there's just you don't understand how many distractions that is, at least for me, speaking for myself, that I have during the day.
Right.
Like, I've got a meeting here at noon about something fucking stupid that shouldn't happen.
It's stupid.
What did I say?
That I have to come back for, that it throws my entire schedule out the window and it's going to mess with my entire day. And, that's just it, where it's like when you throw these things at me, then it throws everything off. And now it means, it seems stupid, but it'll probably take 90 minutes of sleep away tonight. For that.
And 90 minutes is a big deal.
Right. And so, that's life. Everybody is going through it. And so, what my article was about was prioritizing sleep, diet, especially since I really got my diet in check and realized that the sugars and the carbs were bad for me. I feel a lot better, got the energy. And I've tried to really learn when to get away from radio. And the weekends, I try to stay away from it. I try to. I'm still guilty of it because people are like going, Kev, stop with the Saturday emails. But, so sometimes I'm still a little addicted to it. But that's good because you know what? The passion started to come back. I started to care.
You're better than what you were.
I went through that era where on weekends I didn't care. I just wanted to get away from. I wanted to run away from radio. And yeah, I broke. It was burnout. Is really what it was. And anybody can experience that. And now I really recognize that and say, I don't want to ever be in that headspace again because it was really tough to every day. You felt like you were dragging yourself around from place to place and it was miserable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's the discussion. Sarah sent an email and she said, I'm just kind of curious about how we all label this. I grew up in the age of grit over feelings and no pain, no gain. And while many of those scenarios did build my self-esteem and made me tougher, some did permanently negatively affect me, and I still struggle with the repercussions of that. And shouldn't all personal strife fall under some form of mental health? Because who's to say what situation is best for a person to push through to create resilience and character versus a situation where it could result in inescapable depression or lifelong trauma? Or burnout. Like I'm saying, burnout is real for so many people today. So how do you know? And I think that's the ongoing discussion we need to keep having. When is this a push through minute and when's it a pullback moment?
You got to really be honest with yourself, and you got to be self-aware, and you got to know your limitations, and you got to really protect your health because nobody else is going to protect it like you would. Look at yourself like you are a prize little Fabergé egg and protect yourself that way. And don't let anybody fuck with your egg.
I really believe that we all have mental health issues. I've said that before, and I got a few emails. That's not true. You're saying the wrong shit about mental health.
If you don't have them yet, you will.
Well, I'm just saying being a human is fucking weird, and there's going to be weird down and low points in your life. I think human beings have depression built in them.
Of course.
Because it's just this is just a weird thing to go through.
There's going to be situations that if they haven't happened to you yet, stop saying you don't deal with them because they're coming.
Well, I just think it's a spectrum. Some people have it more, some people have it less.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we all are walking this human journey together.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. You're going to get some odd fucking things in your psyche.
Yeah, you always need to be aware of your mental health and where you are. And Megan said this in the chat room, grind, and then you fall apart. And yeah, for me, it was grind, and then I broke. And I thought, I'm too mentally tough to break. But it just, when the passion wasn't there, and at the time I was really looking at Gary Vaynerchuk stuff, and he was all about just go and grind, and it's all about hustle. And I'm like, see, and that was really the mantra that a lot of these influencers were talking about, and I got caught up in it. I'm like, well, if I consider myself to be the upper echelon, I don't stop. I don't slow down.
Also,
I don't take breaks.
There's different strategy to win. Everyone can get to wherever they got to go in different ways. Not everyone has to be that Gary, whoever the fuck that is. Grind till your head pops off. But another thing too is I think sometimes people don't know when to be open and honest. I go back to that baseball story. I don't feel like a victim or anything that my coaches started treating me that way. It just shows you sometimes people don't come forward to talk about certain things because they know they've either been made fun of or people call them crazy or they push you to the side. There's a reason for that. Sometimes people keep it together or people don't let it out.
Luckily, with my studies, I realized that if you want to be the most productive version of yourself, you are a machine. You spend energy, you have to replace energy. And your productivity goes down when you do not sleep well. And so you may think that you're grinding and doing good work. You're not. You're doing shit work. So go get some rest, pull away from it, or you'll hit what I hit, and that's the burnout. And so to me, that was the lesson learned, and it is balance that you have to maintain.
Yeah, because I think there's a time where you got to relax a little bit, and there is a time where you can grind on something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things you need to grind in life, unfortunately, to get to that next level.
Yeah. Sure, but then there's also times when you have to realize you should reward yourself for the grinding you just did. And whatever it is that makes you happy, maybe it's a nice meal, maybe it's a little staycation, maybe it's, a clothes shopping trip. When you grind, and you do really good things, you have to also treat and reward yourself with what makes you happy.
If you're going to grind, your whole life. What's this for?
Well, some people like a little relaxation after they grind. And if your body craves that, you need to give that to your body.
Everybody needs that. And I tricked myself into thinking I didn't because I was made different and I was trained different. My upbringing told me that we don't take breaks, you don't need vacation, you just keep on going. And that's not true, and you shouldn't. And you're fooling yourself, and you're not doing as good a work as you think you are. So stop, slow down.
And no one's impressed by the fact that, I haven't taken a day off in 3 years.
Yeah.
It just shows that you're not recharging
Shows
your
you have
battery.
dysfunction,
You don't have good self-care.
The other thing, people don't want to hear about you working hard. They don't give a fuck because they work hard too. No one wants to hear someone brag about how hard they work.
Show me where someone works smarter, not harder, and that's where I'll be impressed.
No one wants to hear about you logging in. 19 hours, bro. I'm better than you. Fuck off.
Sarah said, I enjoy when you guys explore topics like this because talking them through really gives the people who listen a greater understanding of conflicting viewpoints. Thanks for allowing a public forum where we can have the ability to propose these questions and listen to others' responses. So, I always love to hear what feedback you guys have on that.
And I just
it's
like
still a journey.
I like the fact that we understand there's a lot of nuance to these conversations. Nothing's just A or B.
Yeah.
Every situation's different.
Well, the struggle that I have now is I've gotten my diet, sleep, learning how to recharge to do well at my job. There is still something I'm struggling with, and that is
your sexuality.
Yeah, well, that's on the list.
I fucking knew it.
Well, no, not probably just getting sex. That's on the list too. I think he knows who he's attracted
That's so
to.
low on the list at this point.
I feel that too.
Yeah. It's understanding what tasks to take on and how to give a hard no. Like I said, I've got a stupid fucking meeting today at noon that I was like, this is the kind of shit that throws everything into, it's not good work. It's nothing it's going to be a complete waste of time.
It's fucking up my day. I'm not even involved in it, and it's fucking up my day too because other people are involved, and it's going to prolong other shit that I'm trying to do.
And I just hate this. And this is the kind of stuff where now I'm to the point where I will let everyone in that meeting know. Be like, this is the kind of shit today where we got to get our shit together because we fucked up on this. And I'm not going to start doing this stuff where because of fuck-ups that happen, you guys are going to eat up my day because this is going to fuck with tomorrow's show. It's going to fuck with where I am in my headspace, and I got to defend this. And yes, all of our head bosses said, Kev, you need to be in this meeting. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. But I will let them all know today that this is the kind of shit that you guys need to get your shit together so that my time's not wasted on this. Or you know what? I'll see you at 7 a.m. tomorrow. How about that?
Ladies and gentlemen, Dickie Rants.
Well, that to me is the tough thing that everybody's got to deal with is the tasks that are thrown at you, that you realize this isn't good because this is a D or G or F priority thing. And now an A or B priority is not going to get done because time is a limited resource.
I mean, no name. Movie games tomorrow. It's a big day tomorrow.
So now something that should be an A or B won't be done tomorrow because I'm dealing with an F or a Z priority. So that's the thing that I still challenge with is how to get around those things.
I'm intrigued by what this meeting is
honestly,
about.
It's the kind of stuff that we always deal with.
It's nothing even. It's going to be so. It's so annoying how he's talking about that. You're going to get even annoyed when we explain it to you.
So somebody else in some other department, probably sales, messed up something, and now he's got to go fix it.
I mean, kind of nailed it.
I mean,
I haven't even been here.
Verbatim, you nailed it.
I know what's going
But
on.
how often do those things
It
come up?
happens quite frequently.
Yeah.
And there's mass confusion, and then you have to kind of come in and help them fix what they should have been able to
Because
fix from
for
the beginning.
every minute you spend on that, it is 1 minute less than you can spend on quality doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
Well, Sweet Denny's, I believe, is supposed to be in that meeting too. And if if it's an hour meeting, he's an hour behind on his work, which that really fucks everything up.
Yeah,
it
so
really does,
it
man.
It throws a bomb into everything we're trying to do.
If I write
for
down
our
the name of
audience.
the incompetent employee on a piece of paper, will you confirm or deny?
I'll confirm.
I know you will.
I'll confirm.
You're bad like me.
You know.
So anyway, so that's the one thing that I'm still trying to work through, and that's what becomes frustrating. And my only answer to that is I'm really big about fixing systems. Like I will go in and say, I'm never coming to another meeting like this again. If you guys don't fix this shit and we get a good system, we had a meeting yesterday to try to fix the system that is broken that is causing this problem.
So we had a meeting about the meeting.
Yeah, so
which is
I
great.
did. I had a pre-meeting about this meeting because I'm like, you have to fix the system because we can't keep wasting time in dysfunction.
Technically, we're kind of having a meeting about the meeting about the meeting right now.
We are, yeah.
In a sense.
In a sense.
I mean, this thing is real
And
layered.
it's the dumbest thing that's eating up so much time.
See what happens? You leave town and it goes to shit, Sinicki.
I actually had one more pre-meeting before that. It ate up about 45 minutes on a call about this thing, and I said, here's all I have to say. It's 10 seconds. They're like, yeah, but you have to be there to defend yourself.
This is a triple pre-meeting? Triple pre-meeting, Virginia.
This happened to me a couple months ago. It's somebody didn't do their job, and now you have to fix it. It sucks.
It does.
Is this one of those things? Because I think sometimes people like to know the behind the scenes. Is this something where you have to fix it to the point where now you have to do extra work and not get paid for it?
I don't know that, and I'm not doing that, because I'm going to tell them I'm not doing that. I mean, here's what happened, and because I'm not a big fan of that. When other people fuck up, I don't bail people out very often.
Unless it's us, because we're blood in,
we
blood
bail
out.
each other out because we know that we try the hardest to do it right. I don't think everybody in this building tries the hardest to do it right.
No, and people deal with this with their own incompetent coworkers. Is there gets to a point where it's like, I'm not going to bail you out.
No.
Like, because you know what? Because it enables you and you keep doing it.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm not going to do this. You have to have a hard lesson. You talk about the mental health. When do you have to be tough? When do you have to pull back? These are one of the ones where you have to have a hard lesson that hurts and is going to be very inconvenient for you, not for me. So you'll think about the next time that you get in that situation, be like, oh, wait, that's right. Last time I did this.
But what happens in a situation? Okay, this situation exactly. Let's say you go in there, your dicky rants, blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing it. And then 10 minutes later, you get a call. This person is crying. They're saying they're depressed because they blew it. They really want. I mean, they're just devastated. They had to go home. Their mental health is so in jeopardy right now.
Yeah.
Do you cave to that?
I would say you're the ultimate manager, so you should find a way to fix their mental health. That's not my responsibility.
Yeah, you're not their boss.
Yeah.
If their department is the reason for the mistake, then their department needs to be the reason for the solution.
Yeah, exactly. That's not my job.
But they're crying, Kevin.
Yeah, well then
bitch.
Why don't you go take them a tissue? That's your employee.
Weepy and sleepy.
Yeah, that's fine. Disconnected.
Kevin don't care.
Dickie Rants in the house.
Well, he's doing something that he needs to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's called self-care of Kevin.
Right, because like I
agree.
said, if I don't, this is how Kev burns out.
Right.
Because Kev tries to run around and do all these other things, and I'm like going, oh shit, I haven't done any prep, and now it's midnight, and I'm prepping, and I'm going to wake up in 2.5 more hours, and I'm exhausted and run down, and then I do, a C quality performance the next day on the show, and then what do we do? Yeah, the person who fucked up, they had an Skippy day. Their day was fantastic.
They're
the next
hopping
day.
around. Oh, sweet.
Right.
Kevin fixes all my mistakes.
Right. Yeah. We don't do that anymore.
No, I like this. Okay. Keep me posted, Ralston.
I know he needs to wear leather into work tomorrow.
I would like an update tomorrow.
Badass Ralston.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I just need to know, no one messes with the Kev.
See if Hair Club does a mohawk. Fuck yeah. Fuck it. Just get tough.
Well, I think for a lot of people, you've got to learn to stand firm a lot of times in your job. And, I was always like, I got early in my career, I'm like, I don't want people to not like me.
I can't make waves.
Well, and everybody was always talking about the Diva morning guys.
Yeah.
And the Diva morning host, like he's such an asshole. And I would see some of these guys, and some of them legitimately earned it.
Yeah, they
You're
were
right.
And so
assholes. There's a difference between a guy taking self-care and a guy who's truly a dick.
Yeah, and I never wanted to be that guy. So I would always be yes, and I'd fix all this kind of stuff. And then I got to the point I said, especially the time of the burnout, I learned, I'm like, gosh, you know what? You have to start standing firm in these things, and you have to stop allowing people to fuck up their job and be dysfunctional and say, look, I'll try to help you, but you got to do your job and you got to do it right. I'm not going to be the bailout because ultimately your mistakes are bringing me down.
The one thing I learned pretty quick in radio was, because I always had that same fear. I still have that sometimes, where you don't want to do something, it's probably not good, but, you're going to be labeled a diva. And I just realized just asking questions or saying, I don't think I'm comfortable doing that, not fighting, not saying I'm not going to even do it, just maybe asking questions, you're already labeled a diva anyway.
Well,
Because you're not just going along with it.
I think there's a thing with some employees at some jobs where they think, when I go to work with these people, I want to be friends with the people I work with. I want them to like me. I
Yeah.
want the bosses to like me. I want my coworkers to like me. And guess what? Those are not your friends. It doesn't matter if they like you. You go there, you do your job to the best of your abilities, taking care of yourself, all the while trying to be the most productive employee you can be. And if at the end of the day they don't like you, that's them.
Yeah, I had a valuable lesson where somebody I'd been nothing but nice to, I found out was talking shit about me, about being an asshole. I'm like, well, you know what? I tried as hard as I could for this person. I was still an asshole. In their mind, I'm not going to give names.
Denny's.
Yeah, no one's going to know who I'm talking about anyway, and it was a while ago. But that was part of what lended into how I feel. Be like, people are going to feel about you how they want to feel about you, regardless of what you try to do. So, you got to command respect a lot of times. And it's like, look, I'll be friendly and nice, and I'm a team player. But there are times where I have to dig in and entrench myself and say, no, just because you request it doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
It's a cool thing to really grasp, too, when you realize that no matter what you do or say, just you can't control whether people respond to the way you want them to. You cannot control certain things. And once you realize that, some anxiety does subside.
And you also shouldn't care so much if your coworkers like you. Do your job, do the best you possibly can. But if people have shit to say about you behind your back, get to that point where you're like, not my problem.
Yeah, I mean, I like a friendly environment. If everyone is friendly, that's awesome. If that works out, that's great. But to your point, the first thing here is to do a show or whatever person's
Be the best employee.
Get your job done and get it done to the best of your ability. And then if there's time for friendships, that's great.
I try to walk around with a smile on my face always, but I'm very quick to say no. And I will say no a lot more than I say yes. And that helps you with your mental health. So hopefully there's a lesson in all that somewhere.
Life's a short journey.
You need to get you one of these resting bitch faces. It's very helpful. When you walk through the hall with this face, ain't nobody says shit.
Yesterday, we'd had a story in the Whacked Out News about a serial pooper in Indiana. And the ironic thing about it, the person who was actually the serial pooper, Virginia, was suspect number 2. The person who they thought was the serial pooper wasn't. It was the second person on the list that turned out to be the serial pooper.
And we were talking, how does one get on that list? There was multiple names on the list. Did the person who was number 1, the number 1 suspect, did they have poop crimes in their past? What got them to the number 1?
And were they completely blameless? Because if they were, and like, let's say, for instance, there's a serial pooper around here, and I was suspect number 1, I'd be like, going, what the fuck have I done to make anybody think I would be the serial pooper?
Now, we don't know about suspect number 1. They could have a long history of pooping here, pooping there. We don't know. But we thought that list was kind of...
It was kind of
crazy. How
crazy.
do you get on that list?
Gosh, you just hope you're not on it, ever.
And Cracker Jackson, the 954, left us a message on our Facebook page. He said, serial pooper, when my wife and I worked at the Renaissance Fair, they would bring in semi-truck shower stalls, and there was a serial pooper there at the campsite, and his nickname was the Waffle Stomper because he tried to stomp it down the drain.
Oh, no!
Dude.
It sounds like the guy got away. They never caught him.
Yes, he did. I don't hear
Or
anybody.
she did.
Yeah.
As we know, women can be serial poopers too. Remember that jogger? She kept on taking a dump on that guy's house, and he had no idea who she was.
Yeah, it's fascinating. She was a jogger, a runner, and I was having a conversation with my father-in-law and my wife. They were runners. They always ran. And it was amazing talking to them about how often they shit themselves running.
Wow.
It's a common occurrence.
I can
They're
back that
always
up.
shitting themselves. I'm like, how do you not know? Because I would clean the pipes before every time I went out running. They're like, yeah, there's just something about it. You'll try to do that, but the problem is you need the energy, so you carb load the night before. So they would eat a ton of spaghetti and stuff like that because they needed those carbohydrates to burn as fuel as they ran. So normally somewhere in the middle of a long run, that's when you had to remove the carbs. And you remove them right down the back of your leg as you're running.
They say if you are constipated badly, get up and start exercise. They say supposed to jar something loose, Tiger.
The first half marathon I ever ran was the half marathon of the Palm Beaches.
This is going to get gross, Kevin.
The whole last mile, bitch was trucking. I wasn't trucking for the finish line. I was trucking for the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Because
right.
Little turtle head.
the tank was leaking.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew you'd
There's spillage.
I knew you'd get a gross phrase in there.
Got an email here from Jennifer. She said last night was the veto competition on Big Brother, and
Oh, don't tell me what happened. I haven't even watched it yet.
I haven't watched the
but
episode.
She just said they kept playing the huzzah sound effect.
Huzzah.
It sounded like Suits was having the best night of his life.
Suits coming all over the place.
Suits came on Big Brother and Big Sister and Big everybody.
I haven't seen an episode yet.
I haven't either. Panda and I are letting it stockpile.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And we're going to binge it.
Okay.
That's how I do too.
I've heard there's some big dummies on the show, though, that think they know how to play the game so good, and then they
Always
start
is.
making moves, and they're just idiots.
And a message from Nora for you saying, Virginia, you're going to love the frog jam. Put it on a good hard cheese. My favorite is Manchego. Enjoy your new find.
Ooh, I love manchego cheese, and I love my frog jam.
Would I like a Manchego cheese?
Yes, I
would.
think you would.
What is it? Describe it. I obviously, clearly have never heard of it.
It's a hard cheese. It's not like
Okay.
the brie that you've had that you like that's soft. So this is a little bit of a harder. It kind of has a little bit of a lighter color than Gouda, but kind of in that same color scheme.
Gouda family kind of taste wise.
It's a little bit harder,
The
actually.
taste though, the taste.
The taste is somewhere closer to between like a Gouda and a cheddar.
Okay, yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
There's not many cheeses I don't like. There's one I think it's got. What's the one with all the? Is it pepper jack that has all the peppers in it, or is that a different?
Oh, I love a pepper
But
jack.
there's a couple that's got peppers in it.
Sure, yeah.
That's not named pepper jack, but I don't know. And there's another one that's when you eat it, there's some kind of fucking hot thing in it. But those are the only couple that I don't like.
Usually it says it if it's a spicy cheese, and people like you with that bitch ass tummy don't eat it.
Bitch ass palate too.
Bitch ass grip.
I got a lot of bitch ass things.
A lot of bitch ass stuff going on.
You
with
might
this
be
guy.
more bitch ass than man.
I don't think anyone would deny it.
Damn.
And I know that people were asking earlier, Virginia, how did your daughter Magnolia do on the trip? Because she did not want to go
So
originally. So did you get a lot of flack for it?
she did okay. So
All right.
originally she didn't want to go because she wanted to be here with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then finally she realized, okay, she's not getting out of it. So I let her bring a friend. She was happy to go with her friend. And then I told her, I'm like, look, we're not going to even stay the full time we were going to stay. We're going to come back early so I can work on Thursday. And she was happy about that. But then yesterday, she had a meltdown.
Oh, no. Why?
Tears?
Yeah. She was like, first of all, she wanted to leave Gatlinburg like so quick. I wanted to ride one more of the mountain roller coasters, and she wouldn't let me. She was throwing a fit. I want to get back home. We're going to get home too late. So we leave early, but then I ended up stopping at all those little stores. So it probably.
She had such teenage angst and anger towards you.
Oh,
yeah.
every time I stopped at a store and jumped out of the car because I was so excited to go buy whatever it was they were selling, I could feel the heat of her teen eyes on the back of my head, scalding my skull.
She gets that from you. I can always tell when Virginia's
Yeah.
mad. I can feel the heat
You
off
can.
of her body.
You can feel when Virginia's upset. Yeah, I don't even know. I'd be like going, gosh, I wouldn't even see Virginia. I'd be going, what does this feel in the
She's
air?
pissed.
I can feel
Yeah.
it quickly. It's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
So when we got about, I don't know, an hour from home, she throws this out there. She's like, Mom, how about this? When we get home at 11:30, mind you.
It's 11:30
11:30 p.m. She's like, when we get home at 11:30, can I go see my boyfriend? I'm like, no. When we get home at 11:30, first of all, you need to take all your bags upstairs. We need to clean out this rental car so I can go bring it back tomorrow. And it's too late to go out visiting at 11:45 at night. I don't want you to start your night at 11:45.
That's Sobe shit. You get ready to go out to the clubs at Sobe around 11:45.
Right, and she knows I like her home around midnight. I can't go to sleep if I know she's just left the house at 11:45, and now I'm laying there worried about her. You know,
I get it.
It's not safe. 11:45 is too late. So there were tears, and there was screaming, and it was an awful last hour of the ride. And then this morning she sends me a text.
Okay.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
You bitch.
You ruined my life.
I'm gonna stab you in your sleep, hooker.
It just says you bitch.
No, it says, I'm really sorry about last night. I should have just left it alone and understood what you were saying. Thank you so much for everything on this trip. Love you.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so I said thank you for the apology. And then we talked about how excited we are about the upcoming Outer Banks, which we drove through yesterday.
Oh, you did?
When you
Okay.
take 95 down, you kind of drive through that whole Outer Banky looking area.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
It is tough to enjoy a roller coaster when you know you've got someone that wants to get the fuck out of there. You're like,
She was being such a bitch. But you know what? She was probably right because we didn't get home till 11:30 as it is. And
Right.
it would have been even later because I still would have stopped at all those shops.
Yeah, she knew. She's like, okay, we got to get going.
oh, her boyfriend definitely was like, that bitch.
Oh, he hates me. He's got to hate me.
It was in all caps text. That bitch.
Dat. And it was
Well,
DAT.
dat
bitch.
And then she was like, well, can he come over? And I was like, no, because then y'all are going to keep me awake and I've got to go to bed. I got to get up at 4:30. Come on now.
Okay.
You were really, I mean, you just right to the fucking buzzer beater. You were dealing with shit on your vacation.
Yeah, just have a teen, they said. It'd be fun.
Yeah, it's fun, they said.
No, a teen is hard.
Speaking of which, is there any reason why we have a blue dick on the counter?
Virginia gave it to me.
It's just,
okay.
I just was going to throw it at him when he was trying to focus on his
Dude, during
commercials.
my Dunkin' commercial, she's gonna throw a dick at my face.
Try to get it in your mouth.
And the good thing is, nothing distracts me when I do live commercials, Kev. I'm a wall.
You can't
got
take a
this.
dick during your Dunkin'? Can you take a dick right now?
Yeah.
I wonder if I can hit you right in the face. Let's see.
You know, Duncan's initials are double D.
1.
Oh yeah, of course you have the best accuracy, especially when it's more humiliating in public. Your accuracy is very on point.
Yeah. See.
These dicks are the perfect size for tossing. Thank you, Adult Video Warehouse. They sent us a bin of dicks.
Look,
Yeah.
our sponsor. We gotta take care of our sponsor.
Because
Amen.
of you, we can bounce dicks off our coworkers' faces while they're doing live commercials.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the important stuff.
I may or
in
may not
radio.
take that to human resources, Kev. I don't know yet.
Please don't, because that means another meeting for me.
Dummy.
All right, you guys have a great one. We'll talk to you to kick off your weekend tomorrow. Goodbay.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.